welcome to Board Online, Board Offline. Today we've got a full solo gameplay of King's Abbey for you. Now this is normally the way King's Abbey, like the generic way to play solo is beat your own score, right? You play the game, there's some solo rules just to add a couple of changes to the rules off of what the normal game is, but you're beating your own score. They then have some extra missions in the game to kind of spice things up a little bit. The one that I'm doing, I put out a poll on Twitter, and the one that got voted on was the search for the Holy Grail. So I'll explain kind of briefly how that works in the video, and or actually I believe I might explain a little bit here in the setup, but also in the other one you'll see how it works as well once we get to the actual gameplay. The key thing here is that finding the Holy Grail doesn't end the game. That is a condition to win the game, but then after that I'm then seeing what my high score is as well. So with anything else, let's get down into the setup of the game. And again, this is King's Abbey. So first, let's take a look at the actual board over here. You can see that you actually start at 5. Well, I mean, multiplayer, you have to be starting at 5, 6, 7, depending on your player turn order. 5 would be the minimum number that somebody would start at, but I start at 5 there. And victory points, now this is the wood, so here is the forest. Obviously we got the fields here where I can get some grain. Over here we've got stone that I can get, and here is sand. Basically the red dice are going to represent a second player playing, sort of. They basically there to kind of get in my way on this board. Meanwhile, the red dice over here represent other players helping me out. So what will happen here with the resources, these 2 dice, I roll them. All right, so I got a 1. Okay, well that means right off the bat, the 1 means that the dummy player has now taken one of these tokens. It's an initiative token. It's a bonus resource they get for taking the initiative. But that also means that they now have taken the first player token from me, and the red player is now the first player, which mainly becomes a big deal when dealing with Vikings, because if the red player starts running out of dice and isn't able to deal with Vikings as well, then they're going to start losing their villagers there. But this 3 here, however, it goes on this bonus section here for, you can see there's a 3 right there for the grain. That means that the grain cost is valued at 3 coins, but there's also now, because this is here, this bonus spot in a 1-player game, this bonus spot is not available. So now this die has taken the 1 bonus spot that is available. The reason why that's important is, so let's say down here, if I had rolled 2 6s, I could put these 2 6s here, and you can only put 1 die of your color on each resource spot. So that 1 6 would be all I could do, but there's a bonus spot open, so that I could put this one here. And now the way you determine how much you would get is, so I've got 12 total pips there, divided by this 2 would mean I would get 6 wood. So up here now I don't have a bonus spot to go to anymore, so now I'd only be able to put that 6 there, and so 6 divided by 3, I can only get 2 grain because this is in the way. All right, so now up top here, we've got the building market, and a bunch of different buildings here. These coins are how much they're going to cost, and throughout the game they'll kind of slide down. So what we do with the red dice up here, roll them. A 6 means nothing happens with that one. That one just kind of hangs out. This 4 goes up here, and actually I then have to discard these 2 buildings, essentially kind of like somebody had bought those. And so now these are still available, but those 2 are gone. All right, now we need to go ahead and roll up these 6 dice. All right, now these will not change for the entire game. These dice get rolled during phase 1, so technically I rolled them a little bit too early here, but I just want to kind of show you how that works. But these dice are going to stay exactly with these numbers for the rest of the game. So let's see here. We've got a 1, we've got 2 3s, we've got 2 4s, and a 6. All right. And then these 3 cubes right here are the 3 villagers for the red player. All right, so now let's see. Oh, as far as the Crusades go, I'll explain exactly how the searching for the Holy Grail is going to work, because that's what we're doing today is we're looking for the Holy Grail. But I do have to start the game with 1 Crusade already. So the way these Crusades work is up to 2 players can take part in a Crusade. This one, when completed successfully, is going to get me 6 prestige or victory points. As a reward for completing it, I'll get 1 stone and 1 of these tool bags. And what these are basically is a reusable item that you can use it once per round, and it lets you increase the value of a die that's being used in the resource area here. All right, now what these 4 blocks mean is that I have to have 4 dice of the same value to complete this crusade. All right. Now, right now there's only 10 cards in the Crusade deck. Normally there's a lot more, but with this particular mission, when searching for the Holy Grail, you take out any Crusades that only have 2 dice or 3 dice, and instead you have 4s and 5s that you have to complete. And there's also no relics in here other than the Holy Grail itself. So when we find the Holy Grail, I'll kind of show you how the rest of it's going to go. So I'm going to put this. Let's see, where's a good spot? Yeah, this should be fine right here. Put that right there. Okay, these are my dice that I'll roll here in a minute. And what else do we need to do? I think we're good over there. So now let's come over here. You can see this is my abbey. These are spots for towers and battlements. And I have those right down here, actually. You can see I've got them laid out here for me to be able to keep an eye on them, just to kind of remember what they are. And with one of these cards, these are just like the building cards up there as far as how they're laid out. You can see that's where you put your not your meeple, but your villager whenever you decide to use them. In this case, an archer. It costs 5 coins to train an archer, and then you can put them on the battlement. Gain 1 defense with trained archers. So that someone means I'm going to gain 1 defense. I also get 10 prestige just for building the battlement. And the cost to build it, though, is 6 coins, 3 wood, 1 grain, 1 stone, and 1 sand. It's very expensive. And if I were to build it, I could put it in any of these 4 spots. So, whoa, where'd that come from? Oh, we had that a second ago. Right. Okay. So what that means is that even though we have a bunch of these, there's multiples of some of these, we can only build 4 total. So we have to kind of pick and choose what we're going to use. All right, so this right here, this track up here is our defense tracker. We start with 1 defense. We need to be able, at the end of our first round, have a total of 3 defense because the darkness is at 3. Otherwise, bad things happen. We lose prestige, that sort of thing. So you can see right here it says 5 gold to train an archer, 1 stone to build a wall. That's what these pieces are. These are wall pieces. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sections. If I were to build it, I'd put it right there, for instance. Once I have all 5 sections built, I gain 8 prestige and gain a defense. So let's pull that off. That's left over from my last game. This right here is one of my villagers who's sitting in a pew at church. As the game moves along, they'll start moving forward, because everybody knows the farther ahead you sit in church, the more well trained in the holy arts you are, I guess, or something. And then you get down here to the baptistry, and once you're baptized, that's when you'll be able to use this guy to work in some of these buildings that I'm probably going to build. But for now, he starts right here. You can use 1, 2, or 3 dice, 3 pips, 1 pip, 2 pip, or 3 pips on your dice to recruit more churchgoers, more parishioners. And now over here, we have, you can see 4, 5, and 6. We'll start moving this die along by placing dice here with these numbers. And as it moves along, when it gets to the top of a column, that means my clergy member has now been trained as a postulant, and I'll get a bonus up here. Then it moves down here, it starts training as a deacon, and I get this bonus. And then priest, bishop, and cardinal. Let's see. Down here, these 7 spots are for all of my buildings that I'm going to build. I can build 7 buildings. You can actually also get do a remodel and basically get 2 new spaces that you would put down here, and then you would have 2 more spots for buildings. And so while we're talking about this, I get 1 starting building. So let's go ahead, shuffle this up and see what my starting building is going to be. All right, so we've got the library. Now you can see, since it's a starting building, I don't get any prestige. Normally it would cost 2 stone and 2 wood, but I'm good on that. Flip 1 die to any side 1 time each round. Die usable in the Abbey only. All right, so let's go in and let's put the library down here in the corner. The placement really doesn't matter, but sometimes I like to kind of get a little thematic with where that's going. I don't know why the library would be in the corner, but it is. And this starts with a villager on the library, which means it's active. A building is not active, its ability is not active unless you have a villager working in that building. Oh, and by the way, so this right here, the barn, that is basically will be built if I were to build a farm, a dairy, or a sheep farm. I think that's what it's called. So in terms of the towers and stuff, what I have are battlement, gate tower, bell tower, and chapel. Forgot to mention that. All right, so back over here real quick. So the library is built. I have 6 more spaces available. And then down here, starting resources, I've got 4 gold, 1 wood, 1 grain, 1 stone. These are all my available villagers that I could recruit. Here's the wall pieces. Like I said, this right here is the altar. If I pay 4 gold and 2 wood, then I can put the altar there, and it's automatically a 1 defense that I can have. These 2 represent trade abilities. So basically, once per token, I can flip this over and do a trade. And a trade would be, for instance, I could trade in 4, or I could trade in this 1 stone, which is worth 4, right? And instead get 2 wood for it back, because wood's worth 2. What you don't do, you can't use, for instance, I couldn't combine grain and stone in the same trade to try to get more wood or what have you. You also don't get change back if you spend too much. So that's what these trades are. I already told you what the tool is. And then the wagon is, I can use it once. I have to actually discard it once I use it. You can see right there, it's, come on. Discard after use. So I actually have to discard it once I use it. But basically, when I put a die out here, if I were getting grain, the wagon would let me bring 1 additional grain in, or, or whatever resource I happen to be getting there. So I think that's everything I need to tell you for the setup, and let's head back up top and we'll finish up. Okay, so there you go. That's the setup for King's Abbey. Come back and join us again here real soon. We'll have the gameplay video. I think I can fit it all into 1 video. I may split it up into 2. We'll see how that goes as I'm editing this next, the initial portion of the gameplay together. All right, so thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Come back for more. You can find me on Twitter @boredoffline. And until next time, if you're bored online, bored offline.